Breaking news is in as the Chicago Bulls make a major roster move in extending Lonzo Ball. We're going to be talking about what this means for the Chicago Bulls and what this means for Lonzo Ball. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so the Chicago Bulls make a surprise move in going ahead and extending Lonzo Ball. We're going to be talking about how that now impacts the Chicago Bulls and if they might be making another trade before the trade deadline ends. And so before we jump into that, wanted to let you know that about 64.9% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure that you go ahead and you slam dunk on that subscribe button, as it means a lot as we try to reach our end of the season subscriber goal. And so with that being said, let's jump into the content for today and looking at the recent news that the Chicago Bulls and Lonzo Ball have agreed on an extension, 2 years, $20 million contract extension. And so I did get a chance to look at this a little bit here on Bleacher Nation. I think that it was saying that maybe the second year could be a team option there for the Chicago Bulls, so that maybe gives them a little bit of an out. Still need to see some details, but I must say that this is a good deal. I think that this is a team-friendly deal. You're looking at $10 million, for 2 more seasons, and I think that, that's huge for the Bulls especially. I think that when you look at Lonzo Ball, you look at what he's been able to do this season, I think it's been incredible. I think that he is absolutely the comeback athlete of the year. Definitely rooting for him. I think that each game that he plays, it's a real plus for the Chicago Bulls. And just how good has he been with the Chicago Bulls this year? Look, he's been, I think, very good, because even though the points aren't, that high at 7.2 points a game, his impact is much higher than his scoring. I think that he's been tremendous for the Bulls on the defensive end of the ball, coming off, getting, doubling, getting steals. He's getting block shots and things like that. The activity level is there, making the rotations. Offensively, he's been terrific for us in knocking down 3-point shots. He's now up to the league average. I think that I could expect to see that go up now that he's coming back from the wrist injury. You see the steals per game, 1.5 steals per game. But more importantly, offensively, I think that he really helps just everybody on the floor. I think that he really settles the offense. He's shown that he can work well with Josh Giddey, which is a great thing out there. You have an additional playmaker. And look, I like this deal for the Chicago Bulls. I like this deal for Lonzo Ball. I think he gets a chance to really continue to show what he can do. And I really think that if the Bulls felt like they weren't going to get anything via trade this year, I think if he continues to keep trending upward like he's doing, I think that maybe his value maybe goes up even more for this upcoming season. But I do like the signing, the fact that it is team friendly. Now, as far as moving forward with this team and the ramifications now, and if the Chicago Bulls are going to make a move, it certainly looks like that it's going to be a little bit more tougher to make a move. I think that first, if the Bulls are going to make a move, maybe it would be along the lines of maybe flipping some of the players that they got here in the Zach Lavine deal. Is it going to be something where they do move off of, maybe some of these players that they do have? I think that is an option if they're trying to make a trade. And then I think the obvious option, and I think a lot of people are really wondering about as this trade deadline is set to end here soon, is just, would the Chicago Bulls maybe still have something here for Vooch, because he is still, a center that is getting you double-doubles. You see that he can knock down the 3-point shot, so he can definitely stretch the floor. And I think that Vooch has definitely recovered his trade value this year as well. And so, it's going to be interesting because we are hearing the reports that maybe, that Vooch is going to be here at least past this trade deadline. And I just think that now we have saw that the Golden State Warriors have made that trade to get Jimmy Butler. And, there's still a possibility because there's still Kayvon Looney on the roster. They still have Gary Payton II is on the roster. They still do have Kuminga over there as well. I'm not sure if, he's still going to be untradeable. But if the Golden State Warriors maybe are looking to go after a center, I think that that Vooch still makes some sense there. It's just going to be a matter of, do they want to? Is there another team that might surface here? But I think that for sure, with the extension now with Lonzo Ball, I think that that really shuts that door for right now. And I think that, you see Lonzo really, taking this extension, it puts him in the real driver's seat to continue his career with, now his future kind of secured here with these contracts. So that's a good thing to see. And for the Bulls, man, I think that it's going to be interesting now because, if you don't make a trade, this would mean or another trade, I should say, that actually nets you, I think, a picks or draft capital. This would be the fourth year in a row, if I'm not mistaken, that the Bulls have gone off. And yes, they did make a trade, but you're not getting any picks back. And I just think at some point, now that you've traded off Zach Lavine, you do need your picks back. And or not picks back, you need more picks. You did get your picks back. And so correction, that is good that the Bulls did get their picks back, with control of the picks. That is absolutely great, but they are going to need more bites out of the apple. I've said this a couple times, on these videos after Zach Lavine is traded. Now you need to put yourself in position like an OKC or some of these other teams that have really built through the draft. You need to get some more draft capital. And so I think that that is something to watch. And I definitely think that maybe this extension maybe kind of shows the hand, maybe a little bit of what the Bulls might be doing, or, maybe the inactivity that we might see. Again, those things could change. But one thing to really watch for, and I will say this, I'm not sure if the Bulls are going to do this, but if they do decide to make a move, this is something that hasn't really been talked about. They do have a $26 million trade exemption here. And so with that trade exemption, it's set to expire February the 2nd, 2026 here. And that's going to allow them to trade for a player or multiple players without having to match the salaries here. And so that is something that they could use maybe if there is maybe another deal that they are considering, or maybe there's another deal down the line, but they did generate that in this recent trade that sent Zach Lavine over to the Sacramento Kings. And so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about that. Do you think that, this extension was a good thing for the Chicago Bulls? Do you think that, Lonzo Ball is certainly a player that is going to help this team, take that next transition? I do really feel like that. I think that, he does help Josh Giddey out too as well. And I do like this deal, especially if there is a team option, attached. But maybe you feel like, the Bulls should have maybe explored some trades here. Do you think that the Bulls should have went ahead and tried to trade Lonzo in this trade deadline? And so anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Just want to thank everybody out there for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach our subscriber goal by the end of the NBA season out there. And I just want to leave with this. No matter what happens, like I said before, there is no trade that is going to make the Bulls magically better. It's going to be a series of trades, but we do know this. With the trade that you made with Zach Lavine, it definitely symbolizes that you do need some more draft capital. So somehow, some way, the Bulls need to start thinking that way. And they also need to start really trading for players. If they are trading for players, trade for players that actually are going to start to help you as far as, building around your young core, or at least, again, helping you kind of get rid of some, salary and stuff like that down the line. Like, those are smart trades. Everything has to be something that's strategical now for the Chicago Bulls. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Do the Bulls make another trade as this trade deadline nears? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as I always say, go Bulls. I will see you in the next one. All right, peace.